Hi, this is the little mini thing for the Outcast, another blah, 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 flash fiction I wrote. I think it comes out the 17th, or I'm very late to this video. I've been super busy, got 2 auctions this week, but that's besides the point. The Outcast. Typically with these, I'll talk about, oh, this is the meaning, this is the definition, blah, 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 blah. No. You want to know why? Because this is for you to interpret. So instead, I'm going to talk about why I wrote it. I'm going to present to you why I wrote it and what it symbolizes to me. And therefore, you can kind of decide what you want to take from it. Someone's messaging me on Instagram. So, The Outcast is less of a with the Sorry Soul Chronicles, very much defined and all that, very much each in character. The Outcast is a world-building flash fiction. This means it starts its own world. It's going to be its own world. Might get a book, maybe not. We don't know. It was just a flash fiction. It's treated the same as like a book, just very small, very, very much smaller, like 24 pages, I think. This book is this little story. It's kind of like I don't want to say Venn post. I'm just kind of puking up a bunch of ideas and throwing them out to the wind and seeing what people think. The story follows a doctor. He's in a psych ward. He's making his rounds. He's walking around. He goes up to a patient called Lonea. I think I did. I might. It was either this audiobook or another one that I did in one night, and I might not be the greatest. But Lonea is a non-binary person. I'm gonna be crap at doing pronouns because even when I write a non-binary character, I cannot use the right pronouns. I have to go through and correct my writing. So I'm probably gonna mess up their pronouns for a fictional character too. So we'll see how this goes. So Lonea and the doctor represent two things, actually. I'll say that much. Lonea represents a lot of my thinking, a lot of my thoughts on stuff, on current life. This like past year or two, I've really been through kind of like, I don't want to say existential crisis. I wouldn't say crisis, but I'd say an existential something, like that cat is that's meowing. So Lonea was kind of my way of venting that all out, kind of saying everything. They are one of my favorite characters. Fucking, I'm gonna mess this up so bad. They are one of my favorite characters. Um, so Lonea reflects a lot of my thoughts and things, a lot of my feelings, a lot of my okay, this is how it is, blah blah blah. Lonea is non-binary. But I picked that gender identity specifically. Sometimes I do pick gendered identity specifically for certain things. And that gender identity was picked just because of the idea of non-binary. They don't subscribe to anything of society. In fact, throughout the entire short story, Lonea basically talks about her hatred for society. I won't even say hatred. It's more of a dispassionate. Hatred takes effort. They just don't like society. Lonea is very much just kind of a like character that represents all my philosophy that I've kind of earned this past year. That I've kind of I will say earned because I feel like when you come up with a philosophy, you kind of earn it. That doesn't make you much better or worse. You just kind of earn that idea as you go. So there's a lot of different themes talked about. Relationships, the world, suicide is talked about. But all of these things kind of culminate. And this doctor is sitting across and just listening to most of this. The doctor actually doesn't talk as much. It's funny because it's from the doctor's perspective, but the doctor isn't really the main character here. And what the doctor represents is the outside world. It represents everyone else. Literally anyone else other than my ideas. Literally everything else. And how the outside world kind of reacts to it. Because you have one character who's maybe a little more abstract than normal. I've been told that a lot of my ideas are more abstract. A lot of my thinking, a lot of my stuff I do is more abstract. And then you have the doctor that represents everything else. Everything else. So in that sense, Lonea and the doctor. I think it's Doctor Hermend. I think I shot in a name. He didn't really have a name. He just kind of was the doctor. He didn't really need a name. The doctor's just kind of like, what the fuck, So it touches on a lot of heavy themes. I don't want to really talk about my thoughts too much on it. They're in there. I don't really want to talk too deeply on it. I really want to have you read it and listen to it and develop your own thoughts. It has a short an audiobook with it. But Lonea is very much kind of a echo for my thoughts. So they, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what much to say because I don't want to give too much away. Um, I think when I wrote it, I was at the Sunday at Rascals. I do it every Sunday, 45 East Ave, 12 to 4 p.m., Lockport, New York. I do it every Sunday, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I was like, okay. I was kind of feeling a certain way. I don't know how quite to describe it. It's not quite depressed, but it's not quite isolated either, somewhere in between. And I was just kind of looking at the world, and I really wrote it from that, and current feelings too that still very much exist on a lot of that stuff. But um, I kind of funneled that into the character and kind of told their story. Um, and that desire to not really be around anyone, but still needing someone as a human, as the fucked up part of being a human. So yeah, I mean, the Outcast is a very personal story to me. It's very very much event post, I'd say. At least it's not one of those edgy r/slash I'm 14 and that's deep post, but it is definitely it's a event post, if anything. And I tried to publish it in a way that was tried to write it in a way that you could take something from it and maybe evolve it with your ideas. I hope moving forward, even further into my life, not just 2026, I could do a lot more writing on myself. And I've already started doing that, but I hope to do more of that. So that's as much as I can do, really. As much as I can say on it. There's an audiobook CD. It's on every platform I use. And yeah, yeah. When the weather outside sucks, buy aFlash fiction. The Outcast, Barnes and Noble, and Elastic Stage, 'cause CDs are cool.